This is a sound check for Thankful Thursdays. Check 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Sound check 1, 2. Well, it is good to be with you all once again for our Thankful Thursdays devotional here on this 30th of July. I can't believe that July is almost over. The summer is going by so fast, as it always does. Well, today I want to focus in on Psalm 75 all the way through, so verses 1 through 10. We give thanks to you, O God, we give thanks. Your name is near. People tell of your wondrous deeds. At the set time that I appoint, I will judge with equity. When the earth totters with all its inhabitants, it is I, says God, who keeps its pillars steady. I say to the boastful, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horn. Do not lift up your horn on high, or speak with insolent neck. For not from the east or from the west, and not from the wilderness comes lifting up. But it is God who executes judgment, putting down one and lifting up another. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup with foaming wine, well mixed. He will pour a draught from it, and all the wicked of the earth shall drain it down to the dregs. But I will rejoice forever. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. Well, the reason I wanted to focus on this psalm for this Thankful Thursdays devotion is simply because, of course, it is a psalm of thanksgiving. But it's a psalm of thanksgiving specifically for a community that God has rescued. And it got me thinking, we're always living in this sort of constant state of pandemic, and with it comes all kinds of unknowns and all kinds of fears and all kinds of challenges. And yet, as people of faith, we remember that God is working in the midst of it all. And that means that God is rescuing us, whether it's from ourselves or from danger or from fear. God intercedes for us, especially in the times when we feel helpless or lost or distraught. So I thought it was very fitting to focus on this psalm for today because this COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc, not only in Minnesota as the case numbers rise and the hospitalization numbers rise once again, but across the United States, where states are just being overrun by this virus, when all of us would rather that it just go away, that we be done, that enough is enough. 5 months of this is more than enough. Why can't it just be over? And yet it continues and it perpetuates and it still goes stronger than ever. But as the psalmist writes in this psalm, God is a God who rescues. God is a God who builds pillars to hold up the crumbling fear and lives of those that God loves, all of God's children. And what's hard about this text as well is that God acts according to God's timeline. And if you're anything like me, that is one of the hardest things about God, is that I have my own timeline and I would rather that God work according to this timeline and what works best for me. And like we said, we would love for this pandemic to be over. Why can't that happen now? But God is working. And God is moving. And whether or not we are aware of it, or whether or not we think it should be now or later or in the future or yesterday, God will continue to move. And God will continue to rescue. So today, I give thanks for the humility that comes with faith, the humility that comes with trusting in a God who acts on God's timeline. And yet, despite of all of that, the promise that God has for us that we cannot forget is that God acts because God loves. And that holds fast through a pandemic, through anything that we could possibly throw at God. God's love persists. God will always move and act. And God will rescue. So my hope for you this week is that you also breathe in some humility, that we aren't in control of any of this, and that God is moving, that God is working, and God is with us all. Take care, stay safe, and we'll check in with you next week on Thursday.